also wanted to organize a Free Nnamdi Kanu protest this week. I don't know if you are in tune with that arrangement.
Well, let me tell you, I've always been consistent on Nnamdi Kanu's flights. There was no need for the arrest in the first place. And I've always said that for me, and discuss with anybody who said it clearly, and I meant there. And I thank those who actually tried to do with what I was saying for a long time. Go and check what I've said before 2020, 2022, even in 2024. I've said, and now that he has gone, because he's been to court, the rules should be followed. Not just for Nnamdi Kanu, for all agitators across the nation. Let's dialogue with them. There's nothing wrong with anybody agitating or saying, let's dialogue with them. And whatever we do with them, let's follow the rules. So I thank the organizers and I thank those who are involved. Thank you.
The results of the outcome of the 2022 election, they remain in public domain as debates up to today. Obviously because of the role of INEC and other political factors. Today we have a new INEC chairman in place and we are working towards a new general election. What are your expectations for this new leadership of INEC regarding conduct, outcome of the process?
Very simple. He's a Nigerian. We want a new Nigeria where elections will be free, fair, and credible. And that people who have the competence, the capacity, the compassion, the character and commitment to lead the nations are elected. It's for good of everybody. None of us is going to be here forever. And none of us is going to be in our position forever. So whatever position we find ourselves is to do the right thing. So I wish him well. When it's confirmed, I will congratulate him and tell him to know that one day he's going to leave that post. Let it ensure that he keeps his reputation.
Well, a lot of your followers, especially among the obedient movement, are quite worried about your presence in the ADC because many people actually perceive that it will seem Atiku has a strong hold on that coalition and they fear he will not get it.
Let me tell you, first is that Atiku is a very dear elder brother and leader that I have a lot of respect for. I'm a member of Labour Party and I belong to the coalition forming ADC for presidential election in 2027. And I can tell you, other parties are going to join, other people are going to be part of it. Other people are going to be part of it.
So does it feel that they are meeting with, because there are people that are going to move to PDP. Are you still telling about that, go to PDP again?
All of us are going to come together as a people. That's my belief. That for us to do the right thing for the country, all well-meaning people now have to come together to rescue the country.
Are you assuring Nigerians that you'll be on the ballot for 2027?
I'm contesting, and I'm sure I will be. And people who have looked at it, they have to look at who is competent, who have the capacity.
Yeah, there's a plan.
The first part of that interview is what I am mostly interested in, but the last part of it is also like, it is like the connection to our next story. But that's it. It's never kind of like hidden that. He said he will sit down and negotiate with these agitators, listen to them, and see how much of the reasons for the agitations that the government can actually address with the, the immediate, the medium terms, and then the longer terms. Something that is practically telling you that the self-determination advocacy, as long as it remains peaceful, right, is not a crime. And by law, it is not. So what the APC, Egbekegbe, what they have done is that they have tried to demonize those who are not under their payroll or in their control, demonize them, criminalize their activities, while it's in the same breath, you are saying the worst of the worst, getting sort of like pampered, like you are seeing with the terrorists. And as for the last party, Obi will be running in 2027. Well, he said that up to 10 times, right? So whatever it is, they are cooking behind the scene. There are those who believes that Tifnumbu's move right now is actually a very bad one in chess. Because as everything is going right now, it's more or less like Tifnumbu has more or like closed it. Because they are already bragging that before the end of 2026, that there will be more like 7 more governors that would have joined them. So which they would have become 30, like APC will become like a 30 states, right? They will be the majority in the National Assembly everywhere. So something that gives this winning kind of like, confidence. Here you get. But in chess, that could be dangerous at the end of the day because you have no idea what could be pulled. Because some are saying that all of this is a sign of, it may look like a sign of strength, but it's actually a sign of fear. Do you get that now? Of weakness, where everybody around them is always like saying the good things, the nice things. Do you get that now? And you could tell that they are just more or less like acting it. Do you get what I mean? A script they're acting because that's what makes the emperor happy, right? So they are giving him this sense of like victory, sense of here you get. So he won't have to worry anymore that much. But the opposition, which Peter Obi is one of them, they believe that they still have this trick up their sleeves that they're going to pull on Tifnumbu. How are they going to do that? They say now time will tell, right? But with a wiki took on, the same Obi today. But we're going to come back to that. After we go to their National Assembly to meet their new INEC chairman, Joshua Mokwiton. Yeah. So he got screened today, which is just a formality, right? So he got screened at the Senate today, where he was asked a few questions around that, introduce yourselves and all that stuff, right? Let's get on to it. Hey, hang on. Can we take a minute, just a minute, right, to like the broadcast? It's really important, right? So take a minute, okay? I'm going to put a clip on, right? But like the broadcast, we should do better than this. If we are nearly 1,000 on YouTube, there's no reason why we can't have like 500 of us who have already liked the broadcast, at least by now. Thank you. Now let's go on. The new INEC chair is been confirmed, by the way. So, Akpabiole, who supervised the entire screening process, like, presided, that's the word, presided over the screening process, said that was his first time of seeing the INEC chairman. That he's never seen an INEC chairman before. I was like, what? What's he talking about? I don't know.
Mangono will use the balance of 30 seconds. So, and then we go to this side where Senator Father Honsi will commence so that we go up.
Mr. President, Buhari Abdul Fattah, or not?
But just before you ask, you need to know that you don't need to raise your hand. I've recognized the fact that every senator would like to ask questions. Even if it's repetitive, it doesn't matter to me. What matters is that you try and bring out the experiences from your constituencies so that he will be in a position to comment them.
Yeah.
This is the only time you have to see him. I've never seen an INEC chairman in my life. This is the first time. So please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Buhari
Abdi joke. It makes all kind of jokes like that. Like the joke of ADC crashing. Have you heard of that? It's a horrible joke. And the area ones took it badly. They took it like badly. So Akpabiole was referring to those who are decamping to APC, leaving their parties and all that. So it's now like talking about all the other parties. PDP is dead. That's what he said. PDP is dead. Labour Party is ADC. That one even crashed. And you remember that ADC plane crash that killed the Sultan, I think it was the Sultan of Sokoto back then, that crashed and all that, right? So they took it bad. Like, why would you say ADC crashed like, Anyway, that's his first time of seeing the INEC chairman in his life. Unattended. So here is the INEC chairman is meeting for the first time in his life. Amukwiton, the next guy. You are about to vent your region. Get ready.
Man, and in the reverse, a woman to a man. So I am not oblivious of the constitutional powers and authority of the Senate of Federal Republic of Nigeria. I want to thank the President of the Federal Republic, as well as the Council of State, for nominating me for this very, very important task of service to Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, distinguished senators, my name is Joash Amupito. I am a professor of law with specialization in law of evidence and corporate governance. I therefore stand before you today honored to be considered for the position of the chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission. I want to start with my early life. I was born on the 25th day of April 1967 in a town that is known and called Agitators in the Jumu local government area of Kogi State. So, late Chief Joseph Benson Amupiton and late Mrs. Alice Amupiton. My formative years were nurtured in the environment East Primary School in Agitators between 1971 and 1976. Just to say, Your Excellency, distinguished senators, that my parents were teachers. My mother grew up to be the headmistress, the famous headmistress in our place, and my father metamorphosized to become president of Upper Area Courts. So, following my primary education, to also mention that as at that time, you were allowed to write common entrance. I wrote my common entrance and was admitted for my secondary education because I passed at St. Barnabas Secondary School in Kogi State. Now, higher education. My pursuit of legal knowledge took me to the Kwara State College of Technology, which is now known as Kwara State Polytechnic, for my HSC, that is School of Basic Studies. At that time, you go for your HSC and you obtain an A-level qualifications. IGMB A-levels and GCE A-levels. That was between 1982 to 1984. Upon my graduation from the secondary school, I proceeded to the University of Jos, where I obtained the LLB Honors degree in 1987, consequent upon which I emerged as the best graduating student at that time. And I am happy to report, Your Excellency, distinguished senators, that I won all the awards available at that time. Before I proceeded to the Nigerian Law School in Lagos in 1987-88, where I was called to the Nigerian bar on the 3rd day of November 1988. After obtaining my LLB, my BL degree, I went on national assignment, which was consequent upon the laws of the National Assembly. Upon graduation, you proceed on national service for the purpose of integration. I was posted to Bauchi State, where I served in Bauchi State Publishing and Printing Corporation, publishers of the Trumpeter. I serve as judicial, police.
That's okay. Brilliant CV. Great life experience. You get what I mean? And he also looked like a perfect gentleman. Amopiton. Oh, man, this guy looks like somebody who will know what he's doing. I mean, he sounds so meticulous. It sounded like, they have sold you. Nigeria is a country. If you have another one, you can please tell me, and I stand to be corrected. Nigeria is a country. It's the only country in the whole world where elections are conducted by university lecturers. Do you understand? University lecturers, professors, they are returning officers. They will be given the rules of the election, but half of them, and I'm being generous here, half of them understands the different rules, like something different. But yeah, this is the rules of elect, blah, blah, yeah. Then they will sit down and supervise the flawed elections that will then bring in certificate forgers, treasury looters, repeated criminals, career criminals, who will then come to power. After they will give them money, like they will pay them specially, like in millions. Then once those ones now takes power, they will start stealing their pension, their salary, their promotion. So within a year, they will be back on the streets doing solely. That. I say, wow, ASU is going to go and say, but then they fight for the slot, INEC slot for elections. People they pay to get their name included in INEC electoral business. And the reason is because they're going to go make more money. I don't think there is anywhere you have intellectuals in the world that actually do that. That's why I said that I stand to be corrected. You can correct me and say, no, Maiyegun, they do it for, okay. I'm from that place, so I know what I'm talking about, right? Why would you rig elections for criminals who are going to end up stealing your pension? And then you do that every 4 years, Same thing. I don't think they do it anywhere else. So, Amopiton continued. Now, let's go to the technical part. I think the last time you introduced technology to your election and it was meant to help stop rigging or control it to the barest minimum, then you flopped it on the day of election. They had what they call the beavers, screens you, takes your picture, accredits you before you can vote. They've got the PVC, they've got PVC, which is the card, voter's card, poverty validation card, PVC. So you have that. Somebody else can use it. taking your biometrics. Then you now realize that that biometric, not be everybody then take biometric.